Anyone can use a weapon, but the ninja is a weapon. Behold!
Welcome back to another video, and today I want to talk about the Mezco 112 Storm Shadow. Now, I've been waiting for this guy for a while. Listen, this was a surprise that came to me by my wife. She actually ordered it. It showed up when she was visiting her mom for Mother's Day, and she said, hey, there's a surprise waiting for you when you get home from work. And here it was. Now, I know I'm a little bit behind, but of course, life is life, and this is what happens. But anyway, I just want to take a look at this guy here. So without any further ado, before I do look at this figure and talk about him, I just want to give a special shout out to my wife. Thank you very much. Now, let's get into taking a look at this figure, if I could speak today. Yeah, I mean, it's Mr. Rashikage himself. And if anybody knows, Rashikage means Storm Shadow. And yes, the one, the only Storm Shadow. Now, the cool thing about this guy is that he's not the traditional Storm Shadow, even though they put that on the box. This is a mix between movie Storm Shadow, comic book Storm Shadow, and cartoon Storm Shadow. Very modern look, many different ways on this figure himself, but still in his white gi, which is fabulous. His white ninja uniform, I should say. So looking at that face sculpt, that is absolutely just a beautiful, beautiful head sculpt that they put on him. I didn't know if I was going to like it at first, but yes, I do. I like it a lot. And then, of course, we have the traditional Cobra symbol here on his chest where it should be. And then we have his, well, it should be his belt, which holds his, you know, his quiver and his swords and all that good stuff. And then we actually have his belt around his waist with his pouches, his ninja uniform top. And I like the fact that they put the little white uniform underneath as well, the undershirt, I should say, not uniform, just the undershirt. Pants. Then you have the holster here on the side. You have his gauntlets to protect his arms for blocking swords. And then, of course, you have the traditional hand wraps, and then his hands down below. And then, of course, his knee pads, his shin guards for his boots, and then his tabi boots themselves. And this is a really, really well done, nice, beautiful looking figure. Try not to touch the clothing too much. I mean, my hands are clean, but still, you know, I mean, you should be able to without it getting dingy and dirty and stuff like that. So I wouldn't really worry about it too much, but as for the review, I'm going to definitely maneuver it by trying to hold on to the belt and stuff. And yes, the hood has a bendy wire in here, and it does work. I just tipped his head, you know, I just would tip his head forward, and you slide it up, and you can put his head back, and there you go. Now you have Storm Shadow with his hood up. And that actually looks really good. And this guy comes with a plethora of stuff. So now that I've shown off the figure, let's get this hood down, and let's get into taking a look at things that Storm Shadow comes with, because, like I said, he does come with a bunch of stuff. And if you hear any music in the background, that's my wife in the other room jamming out. And so please, I don't want to get monetized for anything. If you guys do hear anything, that's not me for this review, just so you guys know. All right, so let me grab the things to take a look at the accessories that this guy comes with, and let's get on and taking a look at that. All right, so starting off with the first accessory, we have an alternate head here, and that's just his kind of like a, you know, normal looking face. I like the fact that they did the stretching of the cloth going across, and then it has the band in the back. Very nicely done. I like this head sculpt. Next, we have his angrier looking type of head sculpt. And this is probably the one I'm going to have on him, you know, when I have him on the shelf. But very well done. I'm glad that they included this one as well. All right, so this guy comes with a bunch of hands. He's got throwing hands. He's got flat hands, fists. He's got smoke bombs, throwing hands, claw type hands, bow shooting hand for pulling back the string on his bow. Yeah, this guy comes with a bunch of hands. I just wanted to show him off real quick in the clamshell. So that's all the hands right there. Next we have his sai. And then of course they're wrapped all in white. And they're cool. Nice little addition to have with the figure. And next we have Storm Shadow's Wakasashi and his Odachi. So this is the Odachi, and this is the Wakasashi sword. So that's cool that they have them. And they're all just, you know, they have the white handles on them. Very nice, because the original Storm Shadow did come with these as well. Next we have the Mezco 112 stand, of course, and the little baggie. That's cool the way they actually have the Cobra symbol here on this, and then actually the plastic, you know, armature that will hold him, and then the little baggie that says 112 on it. Next we have this sleeve, which actually has the throwing stars, the little tiny gear type throwing stars, his kunai, and then some more like Shuriken throwing stars. Very nice. And these are the original ones that went onto his belt, or that went into like the waistband or whatever the case was back in the day. However, it was either these or it was maybe it was like these ones. One of the two. But anyway, you have them. These are small, and I'll show how they go on the figure later on. And next in the other clamshell we have his chucks, his sickles, and then we have throwing a smoke bomb, like he was throwing a smoke bomb, and then these are the deflecting the stars that were being thrown at him. Here is the special effects as far as him throwing the stars. This actually goes on to the hand that's kind of sprawled out, and that's actually really cool that they did that. So you can have him throwing these stars at whoever or whomever you want. Next we have his quiver along with his bow, his arrows, I mean, not his bow. And these arrows do come out. They have the little straight tips on them. They plug into the little tiny holes right here. You just want to be very careful with these. Just slide them in ever so gently. Yeah, so then you have that right there. So that's actually really nice. And then of course, I think only these three come out though on all of them. So you want to kind of push up from here when you're moving them out. And then of course the sickles go in here, which I will show them off. But yeah, that's really nice. All right, so here's his bow. And this is cool, it's actually strung. So that's cool, you can have that. And this does collapse, this bow does collapse. So when you want to collapse it, you want to pull up a little bit and then bend so it collapses. So you want to take it, you want to pull up and then bend, because that way you unhook that little tab in there. And then there you go. Now you have his bow that's collapsed. You want to bring it back, bring it, and then push down a little bit. Bring it back up, and then push down a little bit. There you go. And then you have his bow back, ready for action. Next we have the scabbards. Of course, they're all in white. And then you, of course, you have this piece here, which attaches to the actual quiver. And I kept saying sickles, they're his scythes that go in the side here. So I do apologize for that. So you have these tabs here, or holes right there, and then the tabs are here. And then these go on just like this. You just want to kind of maneuver those in there. I can do this on camera. Am I doing it the right way? Maybe it goes, yep, there it goes. That's the right way. Follow the way that it goes, boys and girls, the way that everything is meant to go. And then just put it on in there, and then there you go. Now you have everything. And of course, this is gonna then peg in onto his back right here with these two little peg holes, which then will sit just like on here, if I can do it. All right, so I'm gonna do that off camera and then show it off. But yeah, that's where that pegs in. Okay, so now you see that I have put all of his gear on him, onto the back here, which is actually absolutely just phenomenal the way this just pegs on here. Very, very nicely done. Next, I want to take his scythes, and taking the scythes, and they actually go in here into the side of this, just like so. They kind of just plug in just like that. So I think that's actually pretty cool that that works like that. You just tab in. Nope, mine seemed to want to pop back out, but maybe I'm not lining it up good enough. But they go in. They do go in here. Maybe they go in a certain way. That way, yeah, that way you can get them back out. So, all right, so there's that side. And then next we have the next scythe. And that scythe goes in. Oh, I just popped that side out. I must be doing something wrong. I thought they went in kind of like that. That way they fit. You didn't have an issue with it, but I seem to be popping it out as I put them in. I don't know why. It's the weirdest thing ever. Maybe they just don't go in as flush as I think that they do. And you're just going a little bit like so. Because this one goes in nice. This one seems to not want to go in all the way, or I'm not pushing it in. There it goes. There it goes. I just wasn't pushing it in all the way. So that's on me. I do apologize, but that's how they go in. Nice and easy. I did it while it was on the figure, so it's a little bit harder to do. But that's really cool that he can actually store all that onto his quiver. And then of course, he has his chucks. And like I said, very nice, very well done. And then these bad boys, you're gonna take, and they go right into the holster here. So they're not on his back, but yet at least they included them. Like the original figure, they went in here on the back of his quiver. The G.I. Joe Classified, they didn't even include them. So that's a shame, because they should have, because the original one had them. And then slide these bad boys in here like so. And there you go. And now you have his chucks, his scythes, his swords, his arrows in the quiver. Very well done. All right, so let's I apologize. Let's get into taking a look at some of these little effects that he comes with, because they're itty bitty, but they're actually pretty cool. So you have the smoke bomb effect, where he's throwing the smoke bomb, and that's cool. That actually goes onto one of the throwing hands. And then you have the deflection of the stars that actually goes onto the actual blade of his sword. So that way you know he's parrying them back at whoever threw them. So that's really cool. He comes with a lot of effects and all that stuff. Just one thing that he just doesn't have a place to store his bow, which should have been on the quiver. And you probably could do that by leaving the bow open and just draping it off of the off of his quiver in the back. So I haven't tried that yet, but I will. So yeah, let me get him situated, and then I will give you my last comments on this figure. No, I know I said I was just going to give my final thoughts on this figure, but before I do, I almost forgot to show off his little throwing stars here. I mean, these things are wee little. But he has two tabs right here on the actual figure itself. And I did string his bow up on the back, which I just knocked off him. These things plug in right here. So the original figure on the belt here, he had them tucked in here, his stars and his little throwing knife and stuff like that. But it's cool that they're giving you this right here, so you can actually put these on here. Listen, I have to say, if you lose these, they're going to be very hard to find if they fall off the figure. So make sure that they are pegged in there good, and that you have them on there. And the other thing I want to show off is you have three little pouches on the side here, and that's for his kunai. And you just take his kunai, and these are little too. So just make sure they're in there snug. That way they're not, you know, getting, sorry, I have them off camera, that they're not getting lost. They're very difficult to pick up. So you want to make sure that you definitely have these right where you want them before you go moving them, because this is actually cool that they gave they included these with him. Very nice. Mezco has done another fabulous job. And there you go. So there's his kunai and his stars on the belt. I like it. I like it a lot. But that's really cool that they managed to do that with Storm Shadow. And then my belt keeps riding up a little bit, but if you move it, it'll move back into place. The other thing I want to point out is his ab crunch isn't the greatest, and I don't know if I already did that, which I probably did. But when it comes to his bow, which should have been able to attach to the back of his quiver, which it doesn't, if you just take it, you can drape it, especially if you're just going to have him posing, and just lay it just like this on the back. And that way, when you're standing him up, there he is. He's got all of his goodness on there. So one other thing I want to talk about really quick, and I was really impressed with what Mezco did, is they put like a thin piece of cellophane over the top of all these little tiny accessories, all these little stars and the kunai and all that stuff, to keep them in there, even though that it comes with this plastic cover that goes over it, but it keeps them all from falling out of the tray display when you are moving it around. So that way when you open it, they don't go flying all over the place. So that I found that was really impressive, that they took the time to care enough to actually do that. So that way they stay where they are. So that was great. And I thank Mezco for that, because of the fact that the price that you pay for these figures, it's just a little bit of extra care. Now, here you have Storm Shadow all decked out with all of his goodies on him, and he looks great. He looks really, really good. All right, so I just wanted to show off the fact that he can actually use the deflecting star effect on the side. I've never seen anybody do that, but it actually works with the sai, so I thought that was pretty cool. And then he actually can hold all his weapons, the sais in his hands, and then the scythes, the arrows, the bow, the swords, his chucks, all that good stuff he has on him, including his little throwing stars and his kunai. So this figure is definitely fabulous. Very, very, very cool figure. Mezco has done a fabulous job. I have nobody out here to compare this guy to, so I do apologize, but that's just the way it goes sometimes, and I am sorry that this video is a little late getting out, but it's just life happens sometimes, and that's what, it is what it is. So, but anyway, guys, if you're thinking about picking up this figure, definitely do so. And I have to say, I didn't personally purchase this figure. It was actually a surprise from my wife, and what a fabulous surprise. And thank you very much once again to my wife. She just knocked it out of the park with this. I'm just so ecstatic, because this is my all-time ultimate favorite G.I. Joe character. Always has been, always will be. And hey man, I gotta say, out of all the ninjas I've ever seen, he was the first white ninja that I had ever seen as a kid, and he was just absolutely just down to the money, just crazy. And especially in that episode with the Dreadnoks, when they were teaching the new Cobra troops all that they were teaching them, Storm Shadow says the ninja is the weapon, and then he took apart that tank with his hands and then just tapped it, and the whole thing fell apart. So really cool figure. Very kudos to Mezco for doing a fabulous job. Guys, please like, subscribe, share, and leave a comment down below. Always hit the notification bell so you never miss out on anything new. And I'll catch you all on the flippity flip.